Am I the asshole for telling my brother's pregnant wife she can give birth in an ally for all I care? So I, 30 male, have a 19 male half-brother. He has been living with since he got married in December because my mother and he had falling out due to the fact he got married so young. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have let them move in. Both him and his wife, 19, are the worst house guest I've ever had. I say guest because they're meant to be looking for work and a place of their own. I've made it clear from the get-go it was temporary because of 4 children myself, 7 female, 5 male, 3 female, 1 male, and my wife works from home. Since they have moved in, they have complained about how loud mornings are and my cooking. I do all the cooking, because I rarely do anything spicy which my brother's wife craves. They're messy and never pick up after themselves. Even moaned to my wife about never doing their laundry nor making my brother's wife snacks during the day. They think me and my wife are their personal help drivers, then try and guilt us when we tell them no to 4 a.m. McDonald's runs or my brother's wife's rude comments, but we are too young to know better. It all came to a head this week when all our children were at home due to a bug going around. Nothing bad, just schools, daycare in our area are extra careful. I couldn't get the day off, so unfortunately my wife had to deal with 6 children while trying to work. My brother and his wife demanded they all stay in one room and we get them takeout so there's no germs near their food. When my wife told them they should cook for once because she is extremely busy, they filled out calling her a heartless bitch for making a 5-month pregnant woman cook for 8 people and my brother clean while he was trying to sort out business. It got to the point of them screaming at my wife and my kids crying. My wife had an anxiety attack. I rushed home when I got an SOS text, but my brother was waiting at the door crying about not being our slave and how his pregnant wife is starving. When I got to my wife's office and she explained everything I saw read, I told them they had 30 days to get out of my house and it was time they faced the real world. They both tried to argue with me, explaining none of them can drive and my brother still hasn't got a job. I said I didn't care. My brother's wife said that they'd end up homeless and if anything happened to my niece it was all my fault. I told basically what the title says and she started crying, calling me a heartless asshole. I explained my situation to my sister and she called me a bad bastard for being so heartless to 2 teenagers, but I asked her when she was letting them move and she hung up. I've had multiple social media posts made about me and anger phone calls from since then from my sister's husband and my brother's friends. I asked her when she was letting them move and she hung up. That says it all. They want you to keep taking care of the mess, so they don't have to. Not the asshole. They should have thought of all of this before they treated you and your wife so poorly. Drop them off at your sister's house. Problem solved. 30 days isn't heartless. That's generous. This will be their first of many hard lesions in life. NTA. You gave them way too much notice though, I'd kick them right away. It also explains the fallout with your mom if they were like this there too. And so funny, your sister can call your names but the moment you ask her the question she hangs up. I bet the only reason she is mad at you is 'cause she knows they will knock her door next. Not the asshole. Guess it's your sister's time to take them in then. Wonder how she'll feel if they are acting like that in her home. Not the asshole. This is the first lesson of many that they will learn in the coming months and years. When you first mentioned the falling out between your bro and mom over him being too young to get married, I thought, well, that's just awful. I know a guy who got married at 19. He makes great money as a welder. They have a baby now, and a mortgage, and he really has his shit together. Not every 19-year-old is some useless slapdick. Then I read the rest and was just like, oh. So, not like that. Got it. I want to say sorry about my grammar. It's after midnight and I'm currently sorting out the house and tomorrow's lunch. Not the asshole. They made an adult choice to get married and have a baby. Time for them to grow up. Especially after disrespecting your wife. Am I the asshole for asking for my son back? My ex's parents died within 3 months of each other on September and she suffered a heart attack in November. She's on disability for a long time. We friendly and share custody of our 9-year-old son. Week on per week off. She asked if Lee could stay with her for a few weeks. Not to care for her but because she wanted him around. I agreed and my son was fine with it. It's been a month and a half already. Yes, I see him in person and text, FaceTime all the time. He spent one night at my house. I am not even a weekend dad. Not only do I miss him but I have 2 younger boys who also miss him as well. They worship the ground he walks on. My wife also misses him. Every time I see him, Lee looks taller. I emailed my ex asking that we resume the custody arrangement. She was very upset and called me crying that he's the only thing she has left and not ready. I told her I was sorry, but this arrangement was not permanent. Not the asshole. Get your child. Right now, you are not even a part-time dad. She can claim abandonment in court and snatch custody from you. Not the asshole. The mom can't use your son as a coping mechanism. That is not healthy for him. The kid can end up growing up with issues. Get a lawyer. Not the asshole. Take your son out of this situation ASAP. First and foremost, he is not her emotional support crutch. He is a little human being who has to navigate for himself that his grandparents are gone and his mother is, maybe all the time, weeping, crying all the time, is sad, clings to him. Also, in the worst situation I can imagine, this could be seen as you abandoning him. She could try for full custody, including child support. So I hope you have anything in writing regarding this current situation. So if you live in a one-consent state, start recording your calls. Check your emails, SMS, text messages for any kind of proof that it was a temporarily situation. Good luck. Not the asshole for asking that the original parameters of the custody agreement be followed. She's not wrong in wanting to see him more if she's now out of immediate family. You might gently suggest grief counseling because this is a lot on top of whatever she had going on already. If she continues to refuse and this is a formal custody agreement, get the relevant authorities involved to help work something out considering what's changed. If it's not one, get a third party involved to make one so things stay friendly. Not sure how to phrase this more elegantly. Whatever you do, don't use your new family missing him as emotional blackmail when discussing the situation with your ex. They have feelings, too, but theirs don't trump hers when it comes to her child. Not the asshole. Get your lawyer involved. Not the asshole. Your request is reasonable and it's time for your son to get back to a normal routine. Good luck op. Not the asshole. It has been a few weeks. It is now time to get your son into the normal routine. Please make sure your son was not being used for too much emotional support. Not the asshole. You also have a right to see your son. Am I the asshole for badly reacting to my house being rearranged? Before you come at me, hear me out. Obligatory throwaway account in case this gets seen. I went interstate to see my mother over the Christmas period. I had asked my boyfriend to look after my cat and house sit for me while I was away. I said to him not to have anyone over, which included Mill. I think that's a pretty reasonable request. While I was away, boyfriend secretly had Mill over to my house under the guise of meeting the cat. Mill got it in her head that I needed her to tidy up, so they set to work, tidying up, while I was gone. I asked boyfriend not to get too carried away and not to touch anything that could be classed as rearranging. I thought I made myself very clear on my stance about this. BF actively lied to me about not having anyone over while I was away. I come home. Boyfriend picks me up from to airport to tell me that my father is coming to my flat to see me. I thought the flat was still the way I wanted it. We get through the door to my flat and absolutely everything has been changed. I walk around and I lose my shit saying to boyfriend that I told him not to go overboard. I started crying because he didn't respect my wishes and told me that Mill had been there to help him. I lose it even more finding out that Mill, who is a first-class snooper, has been in my apartment touching my things and putting my life on display. BF got up in arms because I was being ungrateful and I said to him that I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this at all, and to find out that Mill had been here without my permission really made me mad. I said to him he should have consulted me about the changes he was going to make instead of just doing it and making me learn to like it. My dad came over and I was in a foul mood, having just learned that my privacy and my home had been violated. Dad thought I was being unreasonable about the state of my house. Boyfriend and Mill made it look like no one lives there. I stood my ground and said it was too much change and now they have made it so I can't change it back. BF said I was an asshole because of my reaction to this. I'm starting to think I am. But I also feel like it was a heathy reaction to someone completely turning your house and stuff upside down without you knowing. So am I the asshole? Edit. I've had a few people asking if I'm a hoarder or have those types of tendencies. The answer is no, I'm not. I have no problems throwing stuff away. I usually keep a relatively tidy house, to be honest. It doesn't look like designer homes or something, but it's lived in. Not the asshole in the slightest. That's end of relationship level boundary violating. I am curious, why can't you put it back the way it was? Did he go so far as to make structural changes or sell your belongings? That would be lawsuit time. Location flag, boyfriend actively lied to me. Location flag. His mommy knows best and your boyfriend does what he's told. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. There are major red flags here, if he can't respect your boundaries, and makes his mother his sidekick. Time to rethink the relationship. Not the asshole. Your boyfriend not only didn't respect multiple desires of yours, no one over, no rearranging. He brought someone into your home who is known to not respect your things, he lied about it, and he gaslighted and guilt-tripped you about his violating your wishes in your home. If I were you, I'd immediately dump his ass. Someone who I cannot trust to preserve the safety and sanctity of my own home and personal possessions is immediately gone. This is just a window into what the future looks like: a partner who will not only try to change you, your wishes, he'll do it in a sneaky way. And who won't stand up for you and your desires against his mother. Before you come at me, hear me out. This says so much. You've been made to feel like your feelings don't matter by so many people. Not the asshole massively. Not the asshole. Dump him and his overbearing mother. She rearranged your flat without permission. Imagine how much worse she will get as things progress with your boyfriend. Clearly he can't establish boundaries, so you will always play second fiddle to his mom. Info. Do you and your boyfriend live together? Is the place 100% yours? Not the asshole who goes into someone's home and rearranges it while they are away. How presumptuous and rude. Am I the asshole for not wanting to bathe a child? After I graduated from college, my parents bought me a fairly sized apartment as a gift. Since I had some extra space and didn't mind any extra cash, I decided to find a roommate. My roommate is a friend from high school, 28, female, and she has a son, 6. They have been renting for the past 4 years. She goes out 2-3 times a month and asks me to babysit, since the regular babysitter, that comes 6 days a week, doesn't work on Sunday. It isn't a big deal for me since I just order some food and we watch TV, or I just let him play video games. So far there weren't any issues until last Sunday. After the dinner, we watched TV and then I turned on Xbox for him so I could answer some emails. While I was typing, he comes to me, and before he could say it, the stench hit me. He had an accident. I had to get up and move from him because I was getting sick. I told him to sit and tried calling his mom, who didn't answer. I messaged her saying that her son had an accident and to get back ASAP. She wrote me to just run him a bath and change his clothes. I answered, "No, I can't do that, please hurry." She didn't respond, so I just thought that she was on her way, so I told the kid to wait for his mom in their room. An hour and a half later, she finally returned and asked me if I figured it out. I told her no and that I wrote her that I can't do it. She just stormed off to her room. A bit later, she walked up to me upset and said, "Are you fucking kidding me? You really let him sit like this all this time? Come on, fucking a hole. What was the problem?" I just apologized and once again told her that I just couldn't get myself to do it, after which she went back to her room. I've never in my life changed or bathed a child and I couldn't stand the smell. I think that I would probably be able to do it if he had just wet himself, but dunno honestly. My buddy laughed at me and called me a little bitch after I told him this. Edit. Thanks for all the comments and advices. I can see that I messed up big time. I did talk to the roommate on Monday and we both apologized. She said that it's her fault for not teaching me and showed me where his clothes are. Some suggested to apologize to the kid as well, so I will be going shopping later and will get him something nice. Before you started babysitting, you two should have talked about what you can do and what not. You are the asshole. If you aren't capable of looking after a child, you shouldn't be offering to babysit. You let a kid sit with shit in his pants for an hour and a half, dude. At 6 he should be old enough to bathe himself as long as you fill the tub up for him and make sure it's not too hot. And then pick some clothes for him. You don't have to actually wash and dress him. You are kinda the asshole. But his mom is also the asshole because at the end of the day she's his mother and unless you're being paid he's not really your responsibility. She should have picked up the phone and called to either walk you through it or realize you're incompetent and come home. Everyone sucks here, but I get it. You shouldn't really be babysitting if you can't sort out any emergencies like this, but once you said you couldn't do it she should have come home straight away. I have to go with you or the asshole. Clearly you are doing your friend a favor as you are not getting paid to babysit, I assume. And this was not a boundary that was clearly set before you began helping. However, when you are in a situation where a kid is suffering and you don't help them, then you are the asshole. If you had gotten him cleaned up and refused to take care of him ever again, then I would say not the asshole. If you friend had rushed out and left the kid with you without your permission, I would saw esh. A 6-year-old can probably undress, bathe and dress himself. All you had to do was get the water to be a decent temperature and leave the crappy clothes on the floor for mom. The kid is 6. If you were going to do this you need to have kept hounding her, stressed it more. That said, you are in no way required to babysit like a real babysitter. Absolutely not. The mum is at fault 100%. But, once the accident happened what you did was child abuse. Esh. Am I crazy to think that a 6-yo shouldn't be having accidents like that, and should be able to undress, wipe himself and shower? You are the asshole. I know you can't see it right now, but there will come the day when you will need someone to wipe your ass. Hopefully they will have more compassion for you than you had for this child.